our approach for a long, long time is that the best thing we could ever do is get rid of the people, right? It just doesn't work. How do you build support? How do you build funding, right? These are nonprofit organizations that rely on donations to make things work. And so what we were able to do up here at Kankakee Sands is, again, bringing in some of my staff in with this and some students as well. Actually, I'm clicking through to other projects. We were able to actually put together a visitor experience, go ahead and do the site layout, the design work that needed to happen to limit the impact, right? How do we limit the impact of bringing a lot of people to a place, right? I mean, step one, just don't develop facilities where you don't want people, right? That was one of those things at that particular site. They had lots of, go to view the bison and put them right on top of a bunch of sensitive native plant species. That's probably not what you want to do, right? But we were able to go ahead and construct and go through that. That's all actually moving. It's under construction now. This is some additional work that we've done up at Indiana Dunes National Park. These are another fellow. Actually, both Faith and Megan both worked for me here as part of this partnership. They actually now are both landscape architects with the National Park Service. We believe they're the first two landscape architects from Purdue to ever work for the National Park Service. And so we keep kind of building this out. We've got students working in Indiana Dunes National Park, Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Oh, this was the slide. They were slightly out of order. This is some of the work that the students did up at Kankakee Sands, where you can see things like, somebody said that playgrounds is something that you sometimes get involved in EPICS projects. This is a natural playscape, right? But it's also an education garden. We just brought kind of a botanical garden approach of all the native species of plants together with a playscape and put them in the same spot, and this is moving forward towards construction as well. And then, I'm getting down to my last couple of examples here, and then we do things that are really crazy, which is over spring break, I took a dozen students from the College of Agriculture, and we flew to Ireland, and we showed up in a little town called Mount Bellew, Ireland, home of 800 people, and we said, we're here to help. Now, we'd done a lot of our homework leading into this, and we were able to jump in, and you can see one of the projects that's here on the screen is that they have this amazing, it's the original estate, the landlord that owned the entire town before they threw the British out. They have this 4-acre stone-walled garden. It's enormous. I walked in there, and you can only get kind of a glimpse of some of the structures that are in there, right? Hundreds of years old, 15-foot tall wall, unbelievable space. And they're like, we don't really know how to get people, we don't know how to make it so that people would want to come visit this. And I'm like, if people even knew it was here, that might be step one, right? But within this project, what we were able to do was that we were able to bring the students in, work with local partners on the ground, send students out to do simple things. They went out and interviewed their waitress at lunch. They got a hold of Agardo, which is the local police, and talked to them about safety concerns as we developed this site, right? We met with the local leadership, the community, the community's mayor had us over for a meal at her house, right? We did all of these things in a very intensive way, and then we didn't sleep for 2 days, and we drew up all the drawings and presented them back to the community. In this particular case, the upside is that the community liked what the students had, the ideas the students had so much, they put us in as right behind the bagpipes in their St. Patrick's Day parade through this little town. So I'm pretty sure the tractors outnumbered the people in the parade, but it was still a good time. And then where I'm going to end really here for today is that it's all about partnerships, right? If you like working with people, right? This is really what it's about, is that you find good people doing good things, and then you bring as much support behind them as you can. I think I had a table early on. I've done 130 service learning projects as a faculty member. Most of those have happened in the last 5 years. The upside for me is that I have long-term partners that keep coming back time and time again, and these are people that I've built personal friendships with, and they're either working on a really important project in their home community, or they're also supporting other communities that are doing lots of different things. And this is what's great about working in the service area. in doing these kinds of projects. Is the potential for real impact, both long-term and short-term, is kind of magnificent, especially when you're sharing it with your friends. And I think that's it. Questions?
Okay, so you did AmeriCorps. Were you married at the time?
I was.
Did you have to relocate? Did she relocate with you?
Yes.
How was that?
You know, we made it work. It was awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, it was awesome. I went from making real money to making no money, and we lived differently. I'll just put it that way. But
How long have you been married before you did that?
about 5 years, maybe 4 years, something like that. Yeah. Not long enough, maybe. And so.
And you did that for about a year?
Yeah, I did. AmeriCorps is, depends on the different programs. There's the program I went through was basically an 11-month commitment, and so, yeah. Yep.
So it seems like there's a lot of variability in landscape architecture and what they do. Is there a main thing that they do, and then some groups go out and do other stuff, or is it really just that?
We're lots and lots of small competitive firms that that develop their own expertise and specialties in most cases. And again, I mentioned some of the civil engineers back over here. In civil engineering practices, there is a much more kind of set but that's even probably a dated way of looking at it. There are so many different community projects out there that there's just a need for people that can think spatially, that know how to work with stakeholders and bring people into projects, that we just kind of get ourselves into a little bit of everything, right? And so, I mean, it's everything from, working with coastal engineers, doing, work on doing work on resilience and sustainability issues related to climate change and flooding in coastal areas, to, putting in small parks and botanic gardens and those kind of things. But lots and lots of different practices working across those. Other questions? Yep.
You said you work with a lot of competing ideas and with big groups.
Right.
Do you have any strategies on how to get people to work together for a common goal, even if they have conflicting interests?
All right, let's see, with my a couple minutes left. Yes, there are lots of strategies for working with people. The biggest thing is we live in a really, really contentious time politically right now, right? And so I guess this is where I'll just leave off on this, is that the upside is that when you're going in and working on a community project, a lot of that goes away as soon as we focus our energy on the problem that the community sees as something that needs to be solved, right? And so I think there's a lot of this clarity, like we're not here to debate everything that's happening in our broader society. We're here to solve a problem. As soon as you engage people as problem solvers, it's wonderful what comes out of that collaboration after that point. So, all right, thank you all.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Is
Yep.
there like a sign-in sheet?